Hello, this is Blue Star, Defender of Equestria, and this is my afterthought review to Chapter 2 of Make Your Mark. Roar! And once again, welcome to the cockpit of my lovely spaceship, the Morning Star, and this lovely view of Maritime Bay. Yes, I definitely want to get out the focus on videos, and I'm kind of tempted to do afterthought reviews of each of the episodes, but I think I'll start with, basically an afterthought review of the entire chapter of Chapter 2. Overall, I think Chapter 2 was actually pretty good. I think the animation quality has definitely improved a lot, and I think they're actually doing a pretty good job of it, and I actually really like the way the characters interact with each other. And I think they're getting the hang of this. I do honestly kind of think it's ironic that I think every pony is in the same basic situation, from the characters, the production staff, and even us, of that nothing's the same anymore, and we all have to learn, how do we make our mark, where do we fit in, how do we move forward in this new Equestria? Truly, nothing's the same anymore. I mean, we've got a whole new environment, a whole new bunch of characters, a whole new animation style, and even the way that the show is being distributed is completely different from the way that it was. So yeah, so every pony is basically in that situation of that, okay, how do we fit in here, how do we move forward, how do we make our mark in this new Equestria? So in a lot of episodes in Chapter 2, we're dealing with that, and I have a feeling we're probably still going to be dealing with that. You know, this generation is also the thing of, we have a lot to do and not a lot of time. There's only 8 episodes in this chapter. There's not a lot of room for, don't worry about it. We'll have a fun episode and we'll deal with that in, 2 episodes from now. It's like, no, we have to deal with those things now. So I kind of like the general flow of every episode. There's almost a standard episode of My Little Pony alongside the supervillain plot. Again, there's only 8 episodes in this particular chapter, so Opaline has to be constantly trying new things in order to move her own plot forward. So it's definitely going to be a topic for a focus on video of Opaline and Misty, but I think in short, I really like Opaline and Misty as supervillains and sort of minion, that their characters and their motivations are so interesting. It's not just simply, I have come to take over the world because I want to take over the world. It's like, no, I want to take over the world because it is rightfully mine. Oh, and poor Misty, she just wants to get her cutie mark. Oh, I do like that Opaline is not just simply trying the same thing over and over and over again, hoping that it works out. She's like, this isn't working. Let's try something else. So, I think that those two really work well together as like supervillain and minion, and in some ways looking forward to seeing what happens with them in the future, but also being slightly concerned because they are the supervillains and they're probably gonna do horrible things to Maritime Bay. So now moving on to the main 5, I think that yeah, the main 5 are actually pretty good. I like these characters. I think they're doing okay. It does sometimes feel like we got to see in some ways the worst parts of these characters a lot of times. Like for example, in Growing Pains, we see Hitch basically, in some ways, lose his calm demeanor and, rush in headlong to a rash decision, which I think every pony knew this is not the way to fix this. But then again, we've only met these characters. In some ways, you could argue maybe that's not a bad thing. You know what? Even a strong, focused, determined pony like Hitch can, fall to the temptation of fear, panic, and make mistakes. At the same time, with a little bit of, support from his friends and stuff, he realizes that he's making the wrong decision and he's sorry for it and all those sorts of things. And in some ways, you could argue that's good. These characters are not perfect. They have flaws, they have problems, they have issues. It would be a pretty boring show if they didn't. Portrait of a Princess was essentially an episode about 2 sisters fighting for most of that episode, but in the end actually working out that problem. And I thought that was a really good episode and it had a really good song in it. So overall, I think the series is doing okay. I think they're kind of balancing out those 2 things. But at the same time, we've also got to see these characters at some really good points. Like, for instance, with Alicante, whether her friends support these causes or not, they know how important they are to Sunny. So they go and support her because they're just amazing friends. And that's what amazing friends do. So overall, I think this chapter has been pretty good. I mean, again, there's definitely been a lot to do and not a lot of time. There's been a lot of world building and maintenance and figuring out, okay, how do we move forward? Where do we fit in? How do we, make our mark in this new Equestria? But there was still a lot of fun. There was some pretty good morals. And I think also moving into the modern era with social media has allowed for a lot more relevant themes. Like, the moral in Ali Khan is such a relevant story today with social media. And I'm not sure you would have been able to do it in, like, the Friendship is Magic era. Social media can make you think that these people are your friends and they care about you and what you believe in, but sometimes they're only doing that because you are something, not because they believe in you or those causes. And you can tell who your real friends are because they'll always support you regardless of what you are or how many followers you have. They'll support you no matter what. So yeah, so there's some good morals, but the show is still fun, entertaining, there's some good music here and there. I hope that they give some other ponies songs, because by definition, Pip is a pop star, so she has to almost always do pop songs. It'd be nice to hear some other ponies sing some other kinds of songs, in like different genres, maybe like rock or country or something. But I think they probably will go down that road, but I hope they do in the future. So overall, I think Chapter 2 was actually pretty good. I mean, I think they balanced the supervillain plot and the regular episode stuff, still moving things forward. And yes, there's definitely still a lot of world building and stuff going on, but there is a lot of interesting things with these characters, and I'm definitely looking forward to seeing more. So, I hope you enjoyed this video, and as always, thank you for commenting, liking, and subscribing, and until next time, this is Blue Star. Stay strong and pony on. Blue Star out.